I'm your host, A.H., and this is Maybe You Can Relate, an open diary for me and for anyone who has a story to tell. I hope something in this episode meets you where you are, and if you can't relate, that's okay too. Not every episode will be relatable, but feel free to explore past episodes or come back every other Sunday. And who knows, maybe you can relate. Welcome back to another episode of Maybe You Can Relate. I am your host, A.H., and yeah, I'm doing things a little bit differently today. It's a video. I do want to start off by saying happy belated Valentine's Day to all my lovebirds, to all my situationships, to all my singles. I hope you had a fantastic day yesterday. I worked because I'm working. I'm working now. I wanted to make a Valentine's Day episode, but honestly, I'm not in the headspace to be talking about love right now. Because you know what is occupying all of my headspace? Work and my future and what I want for myself. And I need to let it all out right now. So I got a job, and hold your applause. Hold it. Hold it. I'm grateful. It's work, but it has made for so much internal dialogue that I'm so tired. I'm so tired. So I'm probably not making any sense right now, but let me just give you some context and some backstory. So I started working when I was 18 because my mom did not allow me to work when I was in high school because she said that I would be addicted to money. She said, nope, you cannot work. No. And I said, well, okay, no problem. That's fine. And so at 18, I got my first job at Forever 21 at Yorkdale. If you know, you know. It was a time. I met so many people. It was my first job. It was an experience. It was Yorkdale. Like, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. It was the perfect first job at the time. I loved it. And then I didn't. And then I quit. That is the cycle of work for me. I like it, I don't, and then I leave. I know it's very Gen Z, even though I don't know what I am. I'm 98, but millennial, Gen Z mix, I don't know. I don't care. But that's how I've always been. I was at Forever 21 for about a year and a half, and I was like, okay, I'm ready to move on now. And at that time, I had dreams and aspirations of being a photographer. That's what I was in school for at the time. When I graduated, I started working for a production studio, and I learned a lot over there. I was there a little bit longer. I actually wanted to stay there forever, but that didn't pan out the way I wanted it to. My goals switched from wanting to be a photographer to wanting to have my own studio in the States. That was a dream for such a small time, but it was still a dream of mine. But it didn't happen that way. Then I started working at an indoor playground. I actually forget about this job because I was only there for about 3 months because I don't know many people who have worked at an indoor playground, but let me tell you, it is not for the weak. It's not for the weak. I couldn't do it. And it wasn't the work. The work was easy. You know, you're cleaning and you're watching kids all day, but kids? There's something else, man. It was such a random job that I did for such a short amount of time, and it was less than minimum wage, which, how? But it was a job, and it helped me pay for bus fare and for my outings because I was partying during that time. I was like, is there a fete? I'm there. I get paid today. After that, I started working at Journeys, which all my friends know. Journeys was the best job I've had to date, okay? I loved working there. Life was so interesting when I was working there because I was just having a good time all the time. I was having a good time all the time. I loved every single person I worked with at that job. I met my best friend Tamara there, And it was just such a great environment to work in. I don't care what anybody says. I used to pick up all the shifts. I was still partying. I was having such a good time. And at this point, I actually didn't have any dreams or aspirations for much of anything, to be honest. I was just working and going out. I was still taking pictures. I was still on and off with the studio. But my goal was essentially just to have a good time. And I did it. I did that. I had a great time. Then they changed the management and I was like, all right, cool. I was there for like a year and a half, maybe less than that, actually. I don't know if I made the year, but it was an amazing job. Nonetheless, loved it. It was fantastic. Also at Yorkdale. That's important for later. After that, I worked at Starbucks, also at Yorkdale. Now, I hated Starbucks. It was just so chaotic. And I think it's mainly because I worked at the Yorkdale location. I feel like if I worked at a different location, it would have been so much better. But it is what it is. What I did really like about Starbucks was my team at Yorkdale specifically. Everyone I worked with was so different to what I was used to. And I think that's the best part about working is you meet people you probably would have never met outside of work. And then you're like, they're really cool. These are cool people. It was a good job in that sense because your team, in my opinion, the team makes or breaks the job. The team and management, like that really makes or breaks the job because you could be working the hardest job ever. But if you have a supportive team and supportive management, it makes the job go by better. It goes by smoothly. It just goes by and you're like, you know what? Even though this sucks, I got my people riding for me at work. And then pandemic hit and I was still at Starbucks, but obviously I was at Yorkdale and all the malls were closed. So they were still paying us, which was great. I was so happy about that. But then we became like an essential thing and we opened. So then we went back to work, but because we were working at the mall, they put us in different locations that were not in the mall. And I didn't really like the teams I was working with. So I was like, you know what? It's the pandemic. If I'm gonna quit this job, I might as well quit it during the pandemic, right? I don't even know what I'm doing with my life at this point. And not many people during the pandemic knew what they were doing with their lives at this point. By this time, I was back at school for video production. I know. Who would have thought? By this point, I knew I wasn't going to run a studio because of the way things were going, and it's fine. It happened, whatever. I also knew I didn't want to be a photographer anymore. I just didn't like it. I loved giving people their pictures and seeing their reactions to my work, but turning my hobby into a job was the worst thing I could have done because now I barely take pictures, even just in my own life for fun. So now it's pandemic time. I have no goals, no aspirations, and I basically like graduated in the pandemic. And then I get a message on my phone. This is about 2 weeks after quitting Starbucks. I was at Starbucks for a year, by the way, if you're wondering. I lasted the year. I got a message from a manager I had for literally 5 minutes at Journeys. And she was like, hey, Che, do you need a job? And I was like, yeah, actually, I do. I do need a job. I just quit. And she was like, cool. I have a dispensary job for you. And I was like, dispensary? Girl, I don't consume. I don't know anything about the Mary Jane. How can I can't work at something like that. She's like, you don't need to know anything. Just get your license and I'll send your paperwork and you can start as soon as you're done. I can start as soon as I'm done. No interview. I was like, okay, let me think about this because I don't know anything about this industry. At this point, this stuff has been legal for like what? 5 minutes, essentially. I'm like, okay, no interview, a job during the pandemic that pays above minimum wage at the time. Oh my gosh. This is a blessing. This is what I need. And then I find out my best friend that I met at Journeys also got the job. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be working with my best friend. Like, this is great. This is perfect. I get my license. I start working immediately. This place is close to my house. It's curbside pickup, which was perfect for me because it gave me a chance to study, because that's what I did. I didn't know anything, but one thing about me, even though it may sound like I just work and then quit and then work and then quit, I make sure that I do very well at the jobs that I work. Other than Starbucks, okay, that was, I don't know what it is about, or what it was about Starbucks, but it wasn't clicking for me at the time. Whatever. I'm a retail girly. What can I say? But yeah, I was studying. I was like, okay, what's an indica? What's a sativa? What's a hybrid? What's a CBD? What's a CBN? What's a TCHV? All the letters, all the numbers, all the things. What's an ounce? I didn't even know the terms of like the weight. What's an ounce? What's a gram? What's a dime? It's a gram. Half quarter, quarter, all these things. An edible, drinks, pre-rolls, concentrates. I was just studying essentially because I didn't know anything about anything. But yeah, it was such a great job to have during the pandemic because it was a brand new store. We were the first group of people to open up the store, and it was so slow. Year one of that store being open was so dead. Like, we're just opening up the store like midway through the year to the public so that like they can actually walk in, and we're doing the I know you guys remember the like 10 feet apart thing. It was what a time. Like, how pandemic is not real, like, but it is so real. It is so real because it took so much away from me. It took so much away from all of us, and I'm still mad about it. I'm still upset about it. I feel like I won't get over the pandemic until I see a positive change in my life. So once we get there, then I'll be like, you know what? To the pandemic. Oh, the pandemic. What a time. You know, it brought me down, but I'm up again. I'll get there. I'll get there. But yeah, working there was fun. I got two of my other best friends to work there too. And it was just a time. Like, it was easy money. Easy money. The hours were good. The team was good. Manager was lit. I mean, he just didn't really care about anything, which is fine. It made him super chill. Everything was good. I was there for a year. It was good. Year two, it was good. But year two, I knew I was ready to leave. Not because of anything in particular, but I was just like, you know what? I've seen enough of this industry. I don't want to be selling this stuff anymore. I'm good to go. I'm good to go. I'm good to move on. But then it became really hard to find a job. Like, really hard. I was like, what is happening? It's never been this difficult to find a job. And that's when I learned the pandemic messed things up in the work world. And I had no idea because I had a job. I was like, oh, shoot. Well, obviously I wouldn't leave this job before finding one. So I was just applying, couldn't find nothing. During this time, still no dreams, no aspirations, no goals, just vibes. But then some stuff happened. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back to school. Now, do I regret going back to school? I'm going to get emotional. No. But a little part of me does regret it a little bit. I guess I don't want to admit that I regret it a little bit just because it was 4 years. 4 long years. I felt it was just miserable. I was so miserable. I've talked about it before. I'm just not school smart. I never was. So going to university was difficult. Like, it was so hard and it was so long. Like, I felt like I was there forever. It didn't feel like 4 years flew by. I felt every single year. It felt like pulling teeth. It really did. And it's not that I don't like learning. Like, I love learning and I loved my program. Like, it was a great program, but assignments. I mean, who likes assignments, right? It can't just be me. Assignments. But what I really hated was how dumb school made me feel. Oh man, I felt like every time I entered a new class, it was a constant reminder, like, you're kind of slow. You're kind of slow. I would be studying for hours and it just didn't. I tested really, really poorly, but I digress. This is about work. So I decided to go back to school, and of course, what happens? They open another dispensary, same company that I was working for, right next to the school I went to. I'm like, how convenient. Let me see if they can transfer me there. I spoke to my manager. He's like, I can transfer you there, but you would have to become a lead. A lead is like key holder manager type of thing. Now, they've offered me this position before, but I saw how much work it was. For $1 more, it wasn't worth it. It was not worth it at all for $1 more. And for all the extra work, no. But that location just made sense for me to transfer to. And honestly, I could use an extra $1. I started driving and my car takes up all of my money. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. I did my interview, I got the job, and I started working at that location. So by this point, my dreams and aspirations started to actually come to life. I was like, okay, I want to be a therapist. That's what I want to do. This makes sense to be a therapist because everything in my life up until this point is aligned with that. You know, people always tell me they love speaking to me and that they can be vulnerable with me. They feel safe enough to feel vulnerable with me. And I love talking to new people and talking to people in general and just getting deep with people. And I just love being of service to others. That's something I've always, like, that's how I show up in my friendships. I just need to be of service. So at this point, I was on the road to accomplishing my dreams and aspirations. Graduate, take a year off, get my master's, be a therapist. Sounds easy, sounds simple, sounds like a plan, sounds concrete. But life happens and plans change, dreams die, dreams disappear, things become confusing, and you lose yourself. You lose yourself in the midst of things. So I started working at this new location and I started school, and I was at school full time, okay? Full time. And I was working full-time hours, but I was a part-timer, so I didn't get any benefits. And at the time I didn't care. But as time went on, as years went on, I wanted more. I needed more. I wanted something different. I started really hating the industry. I didn't want to sell this stuff anymore. I felt like I was living every day over and over and over again. The same. It was the same day over and over and over again. The same customers, and then those same customers would buy the exact same thing every single time. I felt so stuck. But I didn't know what to do. So I tried to leave. I tried so hard. I would even ask customers, is your place of work hiring? Because you're here all the time. It looks like you're making good money. Are you guys hiring? I was going to different places and handing out my resume in person. If you know anything about looking for work right now, that's not really heard of. People aren't allowed to drop off their resumes anymore because they will just be like, keep that and apply online. Once we hit year 3 at the dispensary, I was not okay. I knew I wasn't okay. But what are you going to do? You have a goal now. You have dreams now. You have to finish school. And it was so discouraging getting rejection after rejection after rejection from the jobs that I was applying to. But even though it bothered me and it hurt me and it made me feel like shit, I had to keep going. I had to keep going. At the end of the day, what are you going to do? Quit without finding another job? I wouldn't do that. Not at this point. By year 3, my life took a complete turn and my grandmother passed away. And I swear, ever since that happened, my life has been like gray. And I have been trying so hard to just get back to what I was before, but I have completely lost myself in work and in school. So whatever, fast forward, I end up working at this dispensary for 5 years. 5 years. I only wanted to be there for 2. So imagine my surprise. An extra 3 years at a place I hate. I hated working there. Do you know how much money? Do you know how much money I spent on taking the 407? For those who don't know, the 407 is a highway. It's a toll highway. And I couldn't wake up in the mornings. I could not get myself out of bed to get to work. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. I was so miserable and I was so tired and so drained that I couldn't even wake up on time and get to work. I couldn't do it. So I had to take the toll highway, the 407, almost every shift because I could not get myself out of the house on time. But honestly, I need to give credit where credit's due. Shout out to Lee, my work mom at the dispensary, because she was everything I needed at that job. She was there towards the end, my last year. And I'm just very grateful for her. She gave me the push I needed to last as long as I did because I don't think I would have been able to without her. But I hated that. I hated that place so much. I don't know how to explain it. I felt like I had outgrown my environment 2 years into the job, but because of school, because I couldn't find another job, I was forced to stay. And of course, nothing's by force. You know, I could have chose to not have a job, but I wouldn't do that. I felt like I just didn't belong there. And I'm not above the dispensary. Like that's not where I'm going with this. It's more so just I had outgrown the space. It quite literally did not make sense for me to be there anymore. It didn't. I'm growing. I'm doing all this reflecting. Life is happening around me. Things are changing within me, in my heart, in my mind, in my spirit. Everything is changing, but I'm stuck here. I am stuck here living the same day over and over and over again. It was terrible. It was such whatever. Then January 1st, 2026, I was like, I'm out. No more. It was my last day at work. Did I have a job lined up? No. Is that something I would have ever done? No. But I couldn't take it anymore. I had reached burnout at that point, and I'm still experiencing the repercussions of that. And I don't know how to get out of it. You would think I'd have all the answers with my psychology degree, but I don't. I don't know how to undo the burnout. I feel it every day. Oh, I also finished school. Like I graduated. So I'm done with school. I'm done with work. And at this point, I don't even want to be a therapist anymore. I don't. I have people telling me, you should get your master's, just finish with school, maybe get your PhD. I'm done with school right now. I can't keep hiding behind school. I feel like if I were to get my master's right now, it would be something to fill the time, but it's not something I want to do. I don't know, maybe one day I will, but I'm done with school right now. I'm done. I want to live my life. I want to have the experiences I had when I was younger, when everything was so new to me. When I was working for the studio, I went on tour. I met so many cool people that I still talk to this day. Like, I miss when life left an impression on me. I worked at Journeys for a year, more or less. And I still talk about that job. I still talk about it because the way that place made me feel, I haven't found a place like that since. I haven't. But I miss having stories. I don't have any stories about the last 4 years at school or the last 4 years at work. I feel like the cool stories I have are the stories of my friends and their lives. But I feel like for myself, other than fishing and crocheting a blanket, that's kind of it for me. And it sucks because I miss having fun. I miss enjoying my life. So, because I'm aware of this, I tell myself, you know what? You're going to be unemployed for a little bit. We don't know how long it's going to take. Take this time to rest. Rest? I haven't known rest since, I want to say, 4 years ago when I started school. My nervous system is so shot. So shot. I wake up with anxiety every single morning. Like, I've gotten so accustomed to how my anxiety feels in my body that I can't even call it anxiety anymore. It's just a part of me now. It is just who I am at this point. But I tried. I really did try. I made a list of things that I couldn't do when I was in school and working. I put down making Legos, reading a book, going to the gym, making soap, sleeping, literally anything. And I did it. I started making Lego. I continued my blanket. I started learning Portuguese, but it wasn't restful. I felt very guilty doing these things while I was looking for a job. And I felt rushed. I felt like I was rushing myself. Like, let's say I would dedicate an hour to studying Portuguese. Instead of being in the moment and thinking about the words and listening attentively to what I'm learning, in the back of my head, all I'm thinking is, can this go any faster so I can start applying to jobs again? Because I would do something and then apply to jobs, and I would do something and then I would apply to jobs, and then I would eat and then apply to jobs, and I would do this. And that was every day for me. That's not rest. That was driving me crazy. I did sleep more though. I will give myself that. I did sleep more, which was fantastic. I felt like I caught up on so much sleep that I didn't get. Anytime I would go to the gym, I would bring my laptop with me so I can apply to jobs. And I was just so consumed with finding work that I couldn't enjoy the resting part because I didn't feel like I deserved to rest. What am I resting for? I have no job. And that's such a sick mindset. And it's very Western to think that way, that we have to earn rest, when in reality, just being alive is enough to rest when you need to rest. But even though I know that to be true, my body doesn't react that way. So I felt guilty and I felt lazy. I felt lazy while doing the fun things I wanted to do. But let me talk a little bit about unemployment, okay? Other than the fact that resting feels undeserving, it is so discouraging looking for a job. Now, so many people told me I shouldn't quit before finding a job because it's hard to find a job, but I couldn't take another day at my place of work. I couldn't do it anymore. So I'm literally spending so much of my time on TikTok looking for different websites to go on, changing up my resume every 5 seconds, changing up my cover letter for every single job, literally applying to jobs at the mall. I told myself after working 3 jobs at Yorkdale that I would never, ever go back to working at any mall because I'm done working at the mall. Oh my gosh, I didn't even mention I worked at Casper, the the mattress place for like, I don't even think it was more than 6 months. It was probably 5. I worked there while I was at the dispensary, but they only would give me like 2 shifts a week. And I was like, yeah, forget it. Like, I wanted to work here so I can quit the dispensary, but you guys are not serious. But yeah, so I've worked at the mall 4 times, and I'm like, okay, enough is enough. I'm not working at the mall. But I was so desperate to find work at this point that I was like, I don't care. I'm not above the mall. I'll go back if I have to. It's really not that deep. It's not that serious. I'll do what I have to do. So at this point, I'm applying to everywhere and anywhere that is full time. I don't even care what it is. If it's in the mall, if it's even if it's in another country, if it's online and in person, I don't care. I just need a job. I need something. At first, I went in thinking, oh my gosh, I need my first big girl job. But every time I would get a rejection email, I was just so discouraged, and I was like, oh my gosh, my money is running out. I didn't have a savings account. I I had 2 paychecks that I had to make stretch until I found a job. It's funny because I went into the job search with a plan. I was looking for full-time, nothing under 25 an hour. Benefits, I was looking for a 9 to 5 so that after 5 o'clock I can live my life and work on the podcast and go to the gym and see friends and create a steady schedule. And it had to be salary based because I needed to make sure I was getting a certain amount all the time. Then it slowly started just changing. I was like, okay, you know what? It doesn't have to be 25 an hour. It could be 20. It can match my old pay. It doesn't have to be, a 9 to 5. It could be different times. It's okay. That's fine. Whatever. I was just changing what I really wanted because at the end of the day, I just wanted a job. I didn't want to ask my mom for money. That was a really big one for me. Because she told me, she's like, it's okay, if you need help, I could help you out for February if you don't end up finding anything. And I was like, yeah, no, I don't want it to get to that point. I really don't. And I'm very grateful for my mom, but my mom works really hard. Really hard. She's already letting me live here rent free. And even her offering to help me just makes me really annoyed. It just upsets me. I'm grateful, but I don't want to feel like a burden to my mom. And I know she'd never say that I am a burden to her, but no one wants to work as much as her. Like, she works a lot. And I think it also bothers me too because I expected better for myself at this point in my life. I'm 27. Yes, it's young. I know all the aunties are going to be messaging me talking about, girl, you're on the right track. Don't worry. It's a journey. Enjoy the process. Yada, yada, yada. I've heard it already. Thank you. But it doesn't change how I feel and what I wanted for myself. I saw this video on TikTok like this morning, and it was a skit where this guy was like, man, if my younger self saw me right now, he'd be so disappointed in me and all these things. And he's like, and then some next guy was like, oh, if you grab this pen, you can talk to your younger self for 20 minutes and you can see what he thinks. He's like, okay, bet. So his younger self comes and he's like, oh, wow, like, is this your own place? And he's like, yeah. And at first he was like trying to apologize, like, hey, bud, I'm sorry. We didn't get to be an astronaut like you wanted. And he's like, bro, forget that. Is this your own place? Do you drive? Oh my gosh, you have your own car? You have your license? That's so cool. And I really love that video and the message of it. But I cannot help but think that my younger self would be so disappointed in me. I never used to care about that, but last year, all I could think about was baby me, baby Ache, and how upset she is at me. I don't know why I started thinking about her so much, but I don't know. Just really disappointed. I wanted to be in a place where I could start helping my mom. I could start helping my family in Cuba. I could start moving out. And I'm not even close. I'm not even close. And my older sister, she tells me all the time, you know, like, you're being so hard on yourself and I worry about you, but I feel like I'm wasting my time and that I just feel wotless, for a lack of better words. I feel useless. I have no savings account. I'm in debt. I have a degree that is useless without my master's. I don't want to get my master's. I thought I had a plan for myself and the plan changed. And that's fine. Plans change. And now that I have a new plan for myself, I still feel lost. Back to being unemployed. I'm looking for work. I'm feeling guilty. I'm trying. And the thing is, the guilt is not stopping me from doing the things. I'm almost done the blanket. I'm still learning Portuguese, still watching shows and everything. And that's fine. I just feel like shit while doing it. I feel like a bum while doing it. But whatever. Remember how I said that I had all these wants for the type of job I was looking for, and then as time went on, I just started changing things so that I can just get any job. I ended up applying for restaurants because I thought I just need some fast money. And I hear about these tips all the time. The tips. This is what makes the job. This is why people don't leave the industry. The tips. Let me try it out. I've wanted to work at a restaurant forever. So I was like, you know, maybe hospitality is where it's at. I got a job at a restaurant. Now, hospitality and retail are so different. Like, I mean, so different. I cannot even begin to explain. The energy is different. The culture is different. Everything is just so different. And I had been in retail my whole life. So I've been working at this restaurant for like a week and a half at this point as I'm recording this episode. Do I like it? Yeah. It's a job, okay? It's a job. But a couple days ago, I drove to work, I parked, and I just sat in my car. And I was looking at the time go, and I was like, I know this feeling. I don't want to go inside. And I know people are probably going to listen to this and just be like, girl, what is wrong with you? Can't you just be grateful you found a job? And I never said I wasn't grateful. Trust me, I am grateful. But I feel like when you long for so much more and when you've done so much work on yourself to grow as a person and heal different parts of you, you just want better for yourself. And when I say more for myself, I mean the things that I actually want. I don't want to be hosting. I don't. But it's a job. I have to work it. I have to make money. But it is so far from what I wanted for myself. And every time I clock in, it's a reminder of that I didn't get it, that I didn't do it, that I did not succeed, that I failed because in my mind, I was supposed to graduate. I was supposed to take a year off with money that I saved to travel, and I was supposed to get my master's. And then when the plan changed, I said, okay, graduate, pay off my bills, save up, and leave for a year. That's my current plan right now, up to date, up to speed. I want to leave. I feel like I've outgrown this space. And I could be wrong. Maybe I haven't outgrown this space and maybe I'm just tired of it. I kept saying I wanted to work somewhere different so that I could experience something different. And I'm working in a field that is so different than what I'm used to. And I still feel nothing. I still feel gray. I thought, and I was so certain that after I graduated, after I quit my job, that I was going to be rewarded for the hard work, for the suffering that it felt like working and going to school and just dragging my feet every day. I thought I was going to be rewarded with something, and that's not how life works. I'm learning that the hard way. That's not how life works. There is no reward for your pain. There is no reward for your pain. It is what it is. While I was unemployed, I thought a lot about the life I really, really want for myself. And I've only told like my closest friends, but I want to put it out there. I want to put it out there and see maybe if it helps, maybe if it reaches the right person that could make it happen for me, you know? So here goes. My perfect life right now, because it could always change, because it's changed so many times already. But right now, my perfect life is the podcast, making money, and being the foundation of something more, something bigger, workshops. And then the workshops turn into retreats. I want to build my own retreat where people don't feel guilty for resting, where taking a break is okay, where people can take a second to reflect on their lives without noise, constant noise. It is so hard sometimes to focus on yourself when there's so much noise around you. That's what I want. I want to move to an island. I don't know where yet, but some island, and have my retreat there. I want to serve others. That's what I said in the beginning. I feel useless if not serving people I care about, and people who care about working on themselves and healing a part of them that they didn't have the space to heal back at home. I want to help them. I want to serve them. So I'm really trying to grow this podcast so that I can start making money and build towards what I want, the retreat, you know? I have plans this year to do 2 different workshops, so we'll see. I even joined this website. It's called Buy Me a Coffee, and it's kind of like a GoFundMe for small businesses, I guess. I'll show you how to get there. So you're just going to go to my, oh brother. So you're going to go to my link tree. You can find it on literally all of my platforms. And then I put help the podcast grow. And then you're just going to click that. And then, yeah, you can be the first to donate. At least now you know what it's going towards. Right now I would obviously go to like maybe buying my own camera because I'm using my cousin's right now. And buying another microphone so that I could start doing interviews, not interviews, but having guests on the show and being able to rent a space to even have guests because they're not coming into my room, that's for sure. But yeah, I just want more for myself, and that's why I'm frustrated. That's why I'm upset. I guess that's why I feel lost, you know, because the dream is so massive. Retreats? What? In another country? That's a lot. And it's like, I think I have steps towards there, but I don't. And I just don't really believe in myself. But in the meantime, I'm still looking for work. I'm still aiming for a job with benefits because I need it. I'm still looking for a job that aligns with who I am and what I studied. I'm still waiting for someone to just take a chance on me. I literally made a LinkedIn post about that where I was just like, I just need one person to say, you know what? She's got it. We believe in her. We'll give her the job and we'll train her. And if by 3 months she's not it, then we'll fire her. I just want better. I just want better for myself, man. I just want better for myself. I want to be able to help my mom, my family. And I want to be a good example for my little sister. Like, I feel like such a loser, but I'm not. I'm just going through the motions. This is the journey that I'm told to enjoy. It's not fun. It's definitely not exciting, but it's what it is. I made a post the other day on Instagram where I was just asking older folks to give me some advice on being lost, not having a clear understanding of your life and the path that you're on. And it was pretty split in half. I got advice, and then I had another group of people who were like, girl, me too. There's so many people who are in the same boat as me. And just from that post alone, I know that there's people out there who can relate to what I'm talking about. And then I had some advice of people just, saying things like trying new things. That one is so hard to hear because as someone who loves to try new things and who enjoyed life before the pandemic when she was trying new things all the time, I feel like I don't know how to try new things anymore. I don't know, maybe you tell me something new I could try, because I feel like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to try? The only other thing I can think of is going to like a Pokemon card convention, because I started getting into Pokemon last year. But other than that, I really don't know. Like, what is something new I can try that can potentially spark something in me? I don't know. I had someone tell me, maybe just disappear for a month, go to a different country. And let me tell you something. I've thought of that every single day. Every single day I think about that. But I can't afford that. I can't afford to disappear for a month, which is why I'm trying to save up so I can disappear for a year. And in that time of being away for a year, I do plan on teaching abroad. It's just a certificate, which is great. It's a few $100 that I'm going to have to save up for as well. But once I do the certificate, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I'm thinking maybe Thailand for a year, or Korea, or Costa Rica. Costa Rica is definitely number one on the list because I don't know. I feel like I've just been called to go to Costa Rica, but my callings have never been right. So we'll see about that. I want to go to Brazil, but I didn't see too many like teaching opportunities in Brazil that was paid, at least. But I'm gonna need to get paid at least for the rent. You know what I mean? But yeah, I also believe that disappearing for some time would be beneficial for me. I've always loved traveling. If you know me, I'm always somewhere. And I always come back feeling better. Because I think for trips, that's the one time where I'm able to rest and I don't feel guilty about it because so much money was put into it. So it's like I earned this type of rest. I earned this trip because there was money involved. I paid for it, or my mom paid for it. So I need to take advantage of this trip because there's people's money, my money or her money or whatever, on the line. But on a day-to-day basis, I just can't do it. I can't. My body won't let me. I try, but it makes me more tense. Like my shoulders hurt all the time when I start to do things for myself. But when I get that trip, whenever that is, I think it'll do me so good to just disappear for a little bit. I got a lot of beautiful messages, I will say, and I'm really grateful for that. So thank you. Thank you for just speaking life into me. I know I'm being hard on myself. I know it, but I just want better for myself. I want better for myself. I need better for myself. I need things to be different. And I know I need patience to get there. And as someone who is naturally pessimistic, it takes a lot out of me to think positively. And I feel like I've been doing a pretty good job. Like, I'm very hopeful that I will find something, another job that fits the criteria of what I was looking for. Even though I'm hopeful, I do still get discouraged. Because with every rejection, it's a slap in the face. Every day I open my email and I get another email that says, "We regret to inform you. Thank you so much for applying. Please keep looking at the job board and maybe you'll find something, doing something else." It's discouraging. Is it going to stop me from applying? No. Am I tired? Yeah. I just want better for myself. I know I keep saying that, but I really just want better for myself, because shouldn't we all want better for ourselves? I want to explore the world. I want to live on an island. I want my chickens and maybe some cows and tortoises and a beautiful home on an island near the beach. But to get there, I have to be here first. And that's okay. It's okay. I'll be okay. I just needed to get that off my chest. I'll be fine. But please, if you can in any way, help me get to the goal, the retreats. If you know somebody that could help me grow the podcast faster, please send me their info. If you know somebody who has a free studio space so I don't have to pay for it, please send them my way. If you know somebody who is hiring for exactly what I'm looking for, or if you know somebody who is hiring and you feel like I'd be the perfect fit, please send them my way. If you want to help grow the podcast, please donate whatever you can, even if it's 50 cents. I'll take it. Every cent counts. Being in your 20s sucks. And it's so crazy because my early 20s were so much fun. Oh my gosh, I was having so much fun before. I just want to have fun again. I want to have fun again. I want to enjoy my life again. But what is fun? I don't know. I don't remember. And what was fun to me before isn't really fun to me now. So I don't know. How do you enjoy your life? What do you do? What's fun to you? I love traveling, but that's like expensive fun that I don't have right now. I'm literally starting from scratch financially, and even that in itself is like a whole nother conversation. Like, oh, I'm happy I got that off my chest. Anyway, thank you so much for listening, guys. Honestly, you just watching this, sharing it, talking about it, it helps me in ways you don't understand, and it makes me feel good. I think my podcast is the only part of my life where I don't feel like such a failure, because you guys remind me all the time. There's always someone who reminds me how great this space is. I get messages all the time and so much support about different episodes and what I said and what they liked about it, and I'm just really grateful for every single comment, every single view, every single download, every one of you. But yeah, if you made it to the end, thank you. I appreciate you. I genuinely love you for taking time out of your day. Time is so precious, and you chose to spend it listening to me. So thank you. Thank you so much. And I'll keep you updated on work and on my life and how I feel. And we're in this together now. Yeah. We're in this together now, whether you like it or not. If you have any advice, any guidance, any wisdom, please let me know. Put it in the comments, or you can join my channel on Instagram. The link is in my link tree, and I'll put it down below in the description, in the caption as well. So yeah, join, become a member, join the conversation. I message in there every single day. So yeah, I'm so sorry also that I look like this. I literally just got out of the shower and I was like, if I don't record this tonight, I'm not gonna record it. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, play, download, all the things. And who knows, maybe you can relate.